What's going on, folks? Time for some therapy. Time for some therapy, man. Oh my God. Robert M., what's going on, man? That was god awful. That was not fun to watch. That was not fun to watch at all. Fire Sirianni. Yeah, I'm seeing that a lot on social media right now. I'm not sure it'll happen. However, I said last week that I didn't think Sirianni's job was in jeopardy. I thought at least it would be no pressure until, next year. I think that's the end of the last year of his contract, I believe. I think he had a 4-year deal. I'm not sure. But I think next year would have been the time where you say, okay, we got to put something together and we got to be respectable and keep it moving, keep going forward. It got to seem like the team's getting better. So my logic was next year, because, quiet as kept, and we're not even looking at it like this. But Sirianni, since his rookie year as a head coach, we've been to the playoffs all 3 years that in his tenure. So you got to count that. And even as bad as this is looking right now, 11 wins after a Super Bowl. Now, maybe these last 5 weeks, the Super Bowl letdown has kind of caught up to us. But 11 wins, 3 consecutive playoff appearances. Not really much you can complain about. How you got there, we're going to have some questions. And that's okay. But there's some definite things that we need to get better at. And there's no more get-right games. We are now in the playoffs. And this is why you play. As a player, you want them playoff checks. You get your incentives. I think Baker Mayfield hit a couple of incentives today, getting the team to the playoffs. I think he collected almost like an additional $1.5 million. I know he made like $750,000 on one bonus, and he may have gotten like $1.5 million on another. But he definitely got incentives for getting the team to the playoffs. Listen, I'm not even going to blame all this on Hurts, because it's not. When I look at the blitzes we've gotten, the pressure that we've gotten, I don't see anybody over there to throw hot routes to. Now, I don't know if they don't practice it or what the situation is. Robert, I don't believe that. It ain't about he can't read, because we weren't saying that when he was putting up 28 and 30-something points during the game. That wasn't the issue. So I don't agree with that, because if he couldn't read when we were okay and putting all the points in the board and everything was wrong with the defense, good thing we had Jalen Hurts. If he couldn't read then, to me, that's not the issue. To me, it's everything you put in the game plan. It goes back to play calling, when you call certain plays, and just the whole X's and O's and the logic behind what you're calling and how you disguise it. We don't disguise crap. And we've been bitching about hot routes since last year. So, no, I'm not going to say it's Jalen can't read a defense. I don't think that's it at all. So, clearly, it's something missing in the mix. I just don't know what it is. I can't tell you. I have no idea what it is. But, you know what? I don't think the Bucks are going to blow us out, but man, we got to put something in there. TL, bro, I'm with you 100%, man. I'm with you 100%. This is one of those games, I remember, if you had a game like this, you get back in the locker room, sometimes you ain't even want to take a shower. You just want to get out of there, go home, you shower when you get home. You did not want to be in that stadium a moment longer. That's the first time I can remember where the Eagles were like prideless. You know what I mean? Like, you got to put a better effort than what we saw on the field. You just have to. With everything going on, with all the turmoil and all the rumors and fractured locker rooms and got Sirianni's back and all of that kind of stuff, you got to put a better product on the field than that. The defenses we were running were a joke. You know, it's the same issues. And you guys have heard me say this the whole time about our defense. Our defense, we can argue about X's and O's and what scheme we're running and what packages we're putting in and when we're running blitzes and what coverages and zero blitzes and all of that kind of stuff. You can argue about that all day. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, if you can't even tackle at an adequate NFL level, it doesn't matter what kind of defense we're running. We are not going to get it done. And right now, we are not tackling on the basic NFL level. We're not even close to doing it. And you can tell it looks ugly when we're out there. It looks totally butt ugly. Sorry for the rubberneck, and I'm looking at the Miami Buffalo game. So 50 less than a minute left to halftime, and Miami's up a score, but the here we go. Bills are moving. They just got inside the red zone. So, but anyways, yeah, we are not even tackling on an adequate NFL level. That is my biggest problem. As bad as the defense is, if we could just tackle adequately, it would look that much better. It wouldn't look as bad. Let me say it like that. It wouldn't look as bad. We still going up people high. Reed Blankenship on, I believe it was Saquon's second touchdown. Reed Blankenship came up and hit him like on the 1 or 2 yard line, but hit him in the shoulder pads. And I'm like, dude, don't you know that Saquon Barkley got tree trunks as thighs? You are not going to hit him up high. You got to fold him at his waist. That's the only way you're going to be able to get him down. He already like a small dude. It don't make sense. Cody K, what's going on, bro? Keep the faith. We trying, man. We trying. I don't even think this team watches film because to me, and this is where I go back to the old dude. I'm old school. I'm classic. I'm the get off my lawn guy. They got to watch film. They do watch film. And this is where I think, and this is where I don't know if you heard me earlier at halftime where I said there's a difference between a fracture in a locker room and a coach losing a team. The difference being if there's a fracture in the locker room, I use the example of like when T.O. and Donovan was going at it. You had the locker room split. Some people was on T.O.'s side. Some people was on Donovan's side. That's a split. That's a fractured locker room. When a coach loses a team, that means nobody has confidence in the coach. So whatever game plan he draws up, everybody looking at him, giving him the side eye like, come on, man. And that starts in the meeting rooms. That the plays that we are calling from the bubble screens, always running inside runs. Now you saw Gainwell had a good game today. And if you really wanted to win, keep feeding Gainwell. We ain't got to throw the ball. Go with what works. That logic is never outdated. It doesn't matter who's in the game. You go with what works. If all your weapons are gone, then you know what? Damn it, we're gonna rely on the run game today. And you could tell when he pulled Kelsey and all of them out. You could look on Kelsey's face. He wasn't happy at all. Do you think AJ was embarrassed? He fumbled and packed it in for the game. I mean, I think AJ was pissed off. Nah, I don't think he was embarrassed. I think he was worried about his knee being hurt. He might have a MCL tear. So when I saw how they landed on his knee, that's bad for business. I'm telling you, because even at best, they were being taking a lot of precautions not to get him hurt. It didn't look like anything. They've done their x-rays, and I'm sure we'll hear more of it. But the fact that he just walked off and everything. But when your knee bends like that, that's bad for business. So luckily it wasn't the ACL. Maybe it was the MCL. And hopefully it is nothing. It might be a strain and nothing crazy. And even if it is a strain, sometimes a strain might keep you out for 2 to 3 weeks. So there is a chance that A.J. Brown won't even play in the playoffs. And then Jalen busts his finger up. That's another thing. I don't think it's going to keep him out, but it's another thing where he ain't going to be 100%. That's the stuff we don't need. Because it ain't, sometimes it's not the best teams that go deep in the playoffs. It's the healthiest teams. It's the healthiest teams. Like right now, if Buffalo and Miami beat up on each other, all it takes is the wrong person to get hurt. And that's a wrap. You can say what you want to. If something happened to Josh Allen, if he's running the ball and trying to jump over folks, and he twists an ankle or tears a knee or something like that, it's a wrap. He just hit somebody dead in the numbers and they dropped the ball with 15 seconds left to go in the half. So I feel bad for Graham and Kelsey coming back to go through this. Yeah, man, listen, I meant to talk about that. BG, Kelsey, Fletch, who else? Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Kelsey, and LJ, Lane Johnson. I don't think Lane Johnson is going to call it quits next year, but you got Kelsey, Fletch, and BG. Every year, Jason Kelsey is him hawing around about it. Now you got the thing out, now he probably making more money off the field than he is on the field. His podcast is blowing up. First number, like top 5 in the country or something like that. So he making a ton of money off of that. He got the Netflix deals and all of the endorsements. So his family making a ton of money off of that. And the most important thing, his kids are growing up. And he want to see his babies grow up. So he don't want to come back to this nonsense. And if he feels that he don't want to go through all this frustration, that's scary. And I'm saying that, and I am a fan of Cam Jurgens. Cam Jurgens is ready to plug and play. I think he will take over and fill in for Jason Kelsey quite nicely. I don't think we'll miss a beat. But still, that's a captain that we lose. That's somebody with years of experience that what he got, you can't replace. So, Sidney is hurt. I believe Sidney tore his ACL. So, yeah, he's done. So, Jeff says we need to fire everybody. Like I said, you didn't hear me earlier, Jeff. I didn't think that was an option earlier. Now I do. And right now you can say in this playoff game is coming down. He's coaching for his job. I believe that now. Because you at least got to put a product on the field that you proud of. That you can say, okay, because listen, I'm not one of those guys that if you get beat, I don't know how to talk to people and I don't know how to. Some people, when they lose, they're not good losers. I don't like to lose, but my first 3 years in football, I didn't win many games. So I understand what that feels like. I'll never forget my first 2 years in football. My first year, we were 0-1-5 or something like that. And then my second year, we won 2 games or something like that. So losing was not new to me. Then I get to high school, right? I moved back to Cincinnati, get to high school, and I'm going to Princeton High School, and I'm joining in the class. These guys have been playing together since they were like peewee. And my high school, we were ranked tops in the country, top 25 in the country. And I remember my freshman year on the freshman team, these guys have been playing together since they was 4 and 5 years old. And the first time we lost the game, a lot of these guys were over there like crying and sniffing. And I was like, what is wrong with y'all? They had never lost. So they didn't know what it felt like. And I'm like, yeah, I'm used to this. Some people are good with losses, some people aren't. But my point is what you do with that energy. Some people will go in, get in the film room, and go watch tape and say, all right, now I know what not to do. And this is what I'm going to do next time. And they build upon that. That's why some people call lessons losses, or vice versa. That's why they call losses lessons. Because every time you lose, you learn. At least that's what's supposed to happen. But it seems like in our situation, the coaches are not learning. We're not doing anything differently. That's the problem. We throw in that same bubble screen that I was bitching about last year. I actually made a joke about that. I'm going to have to go back and find it when I said as long as Brian Johnson doesn't run that bubble screen like we did last year. And then you see what happened in Indy with Shane Steichen. And I saw that and I was like, damn, how similar does that look to what we dealing with right now? Just not as successful. Because you look at the way Indianapolis lost that game, right? Even though Shane Steichen dialed up the right play, the kid just dropped the ball. But if you dig a little deeper and get some context, the kid that dropped the ball, maybe 50 snaps this season, and you got Jonathan Taylor that's got 30 carries for 188 yards and was gutting the defense all game long, and you put him on the bench, at least get him in the game as a decoy, or hell, even throw the ball to him. But it's like, get your best player on the field and get him the ball. Period. And Shane Steichen running all them bubble screens, and I was like, damn, this look like our offense. They just running it better. Y'all realize that Shane Steichen got Gardner Minshew looking better than Jalen Hurts is right now? And I was disappointed because I wanted Jalen Hurts to eclipse the 4,000 yard threshold. Because in my mind, that 4,000 yards is what puts you in the upper echelon category for quarterbacks. For passing yards. Everybody 3,000 with 17 games, that ain't no big deal. 4,000 though, that puts you in the upper echelon. And he needed like 200 yards. He needed a throwing game, and I think the first half we had a net of 0 yards in the first half or something like that. It was ridiculous. That to me, that's pride stuff. That's pride stuff. You got the Giants trying to get Tyrod Taylor his first 300-yard game. Meanwhile, soon as Marcus Mariota get in, the first thing he does is throw a pick. And the first thing they try to do is throw that damn screen. The dude didn't even bite. So, I worry about the X's and O's. Even if the Eagles just like miraculously get it together. Let's just say they figure it out and they put something on the field and they get back to basics and we run it, whatever. I have zero confidence that our coaches can win the X's and O battle, that we can win the chess match. I don't believe we can do that. How many games did we get out coached this year? In the Super Bowl last year, we lost the X's and O's battle. Andy Reid out-coached us in that second half. And there was not a damn thing we could have done about it. Who do you see them trying to get as the next coach? I have no idea, because Black Monday's coming tomorrow, so there's going to be a lot of people getting fired, and this is when the shuffle starts. And think about it. We was in the same boat last year, because when all of this stuff happened, that's why everybody hated Jonathan Gannon. Because of everything that happened so late. Jonathan Gannon wasn't a candidate for the Cardinals until late in the game. That's half the reason it looks so bad. Why you wait until we in the Super Bowl and now all of this stuff pops out? It was like, so he just played himself. But he couldn't have played himself too bad because he beat us. So it's Jeff. I don't know. I have no idea. But I know we can't we can't be in the situation we were when we hired Sirianni. Because if you remember, that came about kind of haphazardly, because when we fired Doug Peterson, nobody was expecting that. We knew there was some things going on, and maybe Doug wanted more power, this, that, or whatever the situation was. Nobody thought Doug was going to walk. Nobody saw that coming. And the timing of when that happened, everybody had already made a lot of the hires. So a lot of the guys that you would be looking at as prime people for those coaching positions were already hired. So we were behind the 8 ball. And I honestly think we just got lucky with Sirianni. Because honestly, when you look at the whole timeline of how we hired him, there was no way he would have been our first choice. No way. Because there was other people that probably would have been available given the right amount of time, and we probably would have went in a different direction. Guaranteed. If the timing would have been right, we would have been better. I don't want Bill Belichick. I don't. But to me, Bill Belichick is. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to be. I'm just not a fan of Bill Belichick. I know he would probably be a good coach, but I guess. Nah, Cody, I don't know about that. Because at the end of the day, a coach wants a job. And this is a damn good landing place. Don't get it twisted. The one thing you got to give Howie Roseman props for is that Philadelphia is a destination team now. Free agents and coaches want to come here because we're on the way up. We're on the way up. Coaches want playoff checks too. The playoff checks go up because you're still getting all that television money and there's less teams. That's why teams want playoff checks. Every round of the playoffs, your playoff check gets higher and higher, and your profile goes up. So all of them people that are in the playoffs, endorsement deals start coming, because now you got to look at it like this. Everybody else is out of the picture. Now everybody's looking at the playoffs. So all it takes is one play and you set for life. Now, especially now with the way it is with social media, all it takes is one thing, and then you got somebody jumps on the podcast, and you got all these other things that can happen. Do I want Harbaugh from Michigan? I don't know, Joe. Let me say it like this. I would take Harbaugh before I would take Belichick. Do I want Tomlin to Philly? I wouldn't mind Mike Tomlin. I don't think he would be a head coach, though. But I don't think he ain't going nowhere. I'd be very surprised if Pittsburgh let Mike Tomlin go. How many losing seasons has Mike Tomlin had? Not one. Not even one. So I like the coach. I don't know if he would be right for Philadelphia. And you got to remember, see, they're talking about Bill Belichick now. The thing with Mike Tomlin is, let's say Mike Tomlin does, hypothetically, Mike Tomlin does become the head coach in Philadelphia. Who's his offensive coordinator? And I'm looking at the offensive coordinator like this, because here's another worry of mine. Jalen Hurts has proven he's better in the second year of offense. So now we got to start back to square one with the offense and get all of that verbiage and get all of that stuff. It is very difficult to get established in the offense. Very difficult. And I hate that the situation we're in, because I don't see Brian Johnson sticking around. I don't see it. Even though, for the most part, the offense has been okay. The defense has been the problem. But they can't ignore the fact that we have zero creativity. Whoever they bring in, they better know how to run and coach up some hot routes. Make an adjustment on the line. That's the things that we're not doing. I don't know if they just don't practice it. It could be that maybe Jalen is just not getting it done or not looking for it. I don't know. But it's not like, to me, they was teaching us hot routes when we was in high school. So I refuse to believe that Jalen just can't see it. A coach's kid can't read a blitz coming? Nah. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. And what people forget is the athletic, your athletic knowledge is cyclical, if that makes sense. Because you were in Little League, right? And like, I'll give you an example. Here in New Jersey, you play with your age groups. 10, 11-year-old, 12, 13-year-old, like that. So you play in your age group. We had A team, B team, and C team. A team, think of A team varsity, B team is junior varsity, and C team is freshman. If this was your first year playing ball and you don't even know how to play, your parents just got you there so to get you out the house, you'd be on the C team. If you know how to play football, you're just not very good, or you don't have that confidence, you'll probably be on the B team. If you one of them kids that's a stud and you advanced and all of that kind of stuff, then you'd be on the A team. But what happens? Kids are there. The second year, you expect a lot of them. Then they move up. Then they go to high school. If you were a freshman in high school, they think of you a little bit different. But those freshmen will go back to them Little League teams, and they look like the big man on campus. And then when you were a senior in high school, you know everything. You done been through it for 3 years. Then you go to college, and it repeats. So you mean the lessons you learned as a high school student ain't the same lessons as a college? They're the same things. The difference between college, high school, college, and the pros, the difference is the level of distraction. That's the difference. You learning the same lessons. Learning when you were a senior in high school and you were a captain of a team, you were the captain of a team. They voted you captain for a reason. You still had to have leadership qualities, this, that, and the other. Then you become a freshman again in college. And then the same lessons just recycle. And then maybe you get to be a sophomore or a junior or a senior and you're the captain of your college team. The same leadership qualities are required. Nothing changes. Then you get to the pros. Now you just around a lot of people that are just as good and just as fast as you are. But the leadership qualities still remain. And the cream rises to the top. So the leadership stuff is cyclical. So the stuff that they ask for as a leader on a team is not different. Not different at all. The class, is it classism? I don't know what to call it when, they tend to give people a little bit more attention based on the money that they have. And I get that. My first day up at Westchester in Kent with the Eagles. My first day. I'm nervous as hell. I'm up at the crack of stupid. I'm one of the first people on the field because I got nervous energy. I couldn't eat. So I wanted to be the first one on the field. And who am I playing toss with the first time I'm on the field? I'm playing toss with Randall Cunningham. The dude I've been seeing on video games. The dude I've been seeing on Sports Illustrated, on ESPN. You got to remember, back then, ESPN was still basically all about highlights. ESPN ain't what it was or isn't, not what it is right now. ESPN was the biggest thing and da-da-da. Like, that's when all of that stuff was just happening. So to be standing side by side with Randall Cunningham, like, hey, let's warm up, Rook. Heart beating out of my chest. But you immediately understand that's the guy. That's the man I've been watching on TV for the last 5 years. Now I'm standing right next to him. And the biggest thing for guys to be successful in the league is if they can get over that mental hurdle. because that guy is going to throw me a pass. That guy is going to hand the ball off to me. And if I score a touchdown, he's going to be the one that lifts me up and says, good play. Because now even though he's 5-6 years ahead of me, we all on the same playing field. When you can get to that mental aspect of it, you ready to go. Jalen had that as soon as he got there. That's why Carson Wentz had lost it. Jalen Hurts came in and earned it. As bad as they said Jalen Hurts was. So, TSM, are we finished? No. It's not over until it's over. I know that's cliche, but that's the truth. It's not done till it's done. And the beautiful thing about going to the playoffs is we are in the playoffs. Everybody is 0-0. Nothing you did in the regular season matters anymore. If you had a great regular season, can you continue it in the playoffs? Did you lose anybody? Is anybody hurt? Are you going through a bad streak of games like the Eagles are? All of that stuff gets wiped off the table, and everybody's in the same spot. The division champions, they get that bye week, but a lot of people don't like the bye week because they want to keep the momentum going. They think if you have a bye week, you lose your momentum. And there's some truth to that. If you got a lot of guys injured and you need the rest, the bye week is phenomenal. But if everybody, for the most part, is healthy and everything is in sync and you just want to keep it going, there's something to be said to not play. And you just sitting around watching film all week. And so there's something to that. The better teams can overcome it. The weaker teams can't. So TSM, no, we're not finished. But we got to handle our business. Clab Kabash. Clab Kabash. As a Giants fan, don't worry. They could beat Tampa. Calm down. I know they can beat Tampa. Will they beat Tampa? That's the thing. I know we have arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL. But will they get him the ball? Will they, on a 3rd and 5, will they try to throw the ball 30 yards down the field instead of running A.J. Brown on a slant across the middle for a surefire? Will they disguise our run plays? Will they try to run a bubble screen again? So, yes, we can beat Tampa. But will we? Will the coaches do the right things? Can they win that X's and O's battles? Because you know what? Every time we played Tampa Bay, Todd Bowles dials up some stuff and it confuses. Remember the last time we played them? And once again, everybody does the muddle rush. They do the slow rush, stays in their lanes, and they gave Jalen fits. That started from Belichick. The first game of the season, we struggled with the Patriots. Why? Because they were rushing those 3 or 4 up the middle, and the linebackers would just stay and wouldn't move, and they wouldn't give Jalen any passing lanes or running lanes. That's how they beat Jalen Hurts. That's how they give him troubles. And then fast forward to when we played the 49ers. And then you got that quote of Bosa after the game, and it's like, hey, he got the blueprint. Can't argue with him. Can't argue with him at all. So, yes, we can beat Tampa, but will we? The way we've been playing, do you have that much confidence? I don't. You don't just flick that on. Willie Vassar says, as a Cowboy fan, I think what hurt y'all was losing OC and DC and those 6 starters on defense and replacing them with rookies. 100%, bro. 100. So, I think a lot of people come to realize that the MVP of last year may have been Shane Steichen. Shane Steichen, and I said this earlier, Shane Steichen got Gardner Minshew playing better than Jalen Hurts. That's a tall order. And he was smart enough to take people with him that already knew his system. And you see the results. Gardner Minshew is a good quarterback, and that's as far as I'll go with him. But he's got him playing to a higher level because Gardner Minshew already understands what's required, and you see how well he's playing. Now, what do you think is going to happen when Anthony Richardson, who is a bigger, stronger, faster version of Jalen Hurts, what do you think he's going to do when he figures it out? Because Shane Steichen's a good coach. And now, for the same reason I was talking about Jalen Hurts, now you got Anthony Richardson coming back. He's got another year under the same system. He's already got the answers to the tests. So, and he already had pretty, some good success his rookie year. So he's only going to get better. He's only going to get better. And you got a great backup. He's in the best situation. So, yeah, Willie, losing offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator, as much, and I said this last year, as much as we bitched about Jonathan Gannon, and that was Eagles fans listening to too much radio and thinking everything should go on a blitz. Yes, I thought we needed to do some things differently, but ultimately, you got to admit, we were nitpicking on a whole bunch of shit. Nitpicking. Our defense was sacking 3 and 4 times a game. We were sacking everybody. Hassan Reddick was unstoppable. You got to give John Gannon credit for that. So, it was a bend but don't break. Yes, we wanted to blitz more and all of that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, our defense was balling. And we wish we had that type of defense back. We wish it was like that. So, again, the X's and O's. We took for granted the X's and O's for Jonathan Gannon. We took it for granted. Do I think we would have been a much better team if Jonathan Gannon had stayed? Brian Johnson, I think the offense would look a lot better if we didn't have so many issues on our defense. Our defense went from first to worst. Nobody expected that because our defensive line was tight. BG was still playing. Fletcher Cox has had a good season at 4 years old? Nobody really expected that from Fletch. Fletch balled out this year. BG is still producing. Jalen Carter's been the truth as advertised. Jordan Davis has been playing better. Josh Sweat started off strong. And then you got Hassan Reddick doing what he's been doing for the past 4 seasons. He's with 11 sacks again? Another year with 10 plus sacks. What do you want? Plus Milt Williams. Plus a couple of other guys that just, our problems were in the secondary when people got hurt and they shortchanged us at linebacker. Now, Clab, I don't think that's going to hurt us that much. Howie's been a master, a maestro at maneuvering the money. So, Hurts has got a big contract, but trust me, we got plenty of room to maneuver. And Howie is known for moving draft picks and making money. So I'm not worried about that at all. Howie Roseman, that is what Howie, that is why Howie is the best in the business. So that does not concern me one bit. You're not wrong, but Howie has been masterful with the contracts and stuff like that. So that doesn't worry me whatsoever. I think what Howie has to do is he has to make a decision on getting linebackers because that's what we're hurting this year. Yo, you gotta, and you a Cowboys fan, man. So you gotta understand. Oh, you're a Giants fan. I'm sorry. So you hear the noise. You're close enough to hear the noise. Because nobody saw that coming with Carson Wentz. I didn't. I didn't see that coming at all. I never would have thought Carson Wentz was that messed up in the head that he would get himself out of town. Miami still hanging tough, 14-7, 9 minutes left in the third quarter. So, big play Slade might get out, but he just signed a 2-year contract. So, is he going to give up that money, or is he going to play the last year of his contract? Plus, I want Slade to stay. Bradbury is the one we got to get out of here. Bradbury is the. Are we going to eat that money? That's the problem. So I want to see what Howie's going to do with that, because that is where we whiffed. And I understand why we did it. I wasn't mad that we signed Bradbury. Again, nobody thought his drop-off was going to be that drastic. He didn't have a decline. He dropped off a cliff. So I don't know if we're going to somehow find a way to eat that money, or I don't know what Howie's going to do. But I would be very surprised if Bradbury comes back. And if he does come back, he ain't going to start. Are they going to ask him to restructure his contract like Russell Wilson? Or try to buy him out? They're going to have to do something, because he's not good anymore. He got burned today. So I don't know what they're going to do. I hope they keep Slay. Slay is still a good cornerback. Yeah. Yeah, there was some things, I don't know if you guys heard it, about what Darren Sproles almost got into a fight with Wentz. Because you're right, Wentz never got over the fact that he didn't win the Super Bowl. He had to watch somebody else do it. Even though he was part of the team. Even though we probably never would have gotten there if he hadn't balled out like he did, but he's injury prone. So, but the story came out, and I believe Darren Sproles told this story where he was in the locker room and he overheard Wentz bitching about him wishing it was him taking us to the Super Bowl in the playoffs instead of Foles. And Sproles was like, what do you care? Like, we're making it. Why? It just didn't work out for you. So that was, once I heard that story, I was like, man, that when you talking about leadership skills, that's the kind of stuff that'll sink you, especially when, because he's going to talk to somebody. Sproles is. So it happens like that. Everybody ain't made of the same stuff, man. Pressure does two things: makes diamonds and busts pipes. So you got to be solid with your stuff. You got to be confident with who you are, especially because times are going to get tough, just like we're going through right now. So, yeah. And the whole Bradbury thing is weird because Bradbury was good last year. Even how everything went down in the Super Bowl, Bradbury was pretty solid last year. So when Howie re-signed him, and that whole thing was weird because everything was on the back burner, because if you remember, they were trying to sign C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And C.J. Gardner-Johnson outshot his market. That's what I believe happened with C.J. Because the money that Detroit is paying him right now, he could have got that here. The problem was, I think he shot too high. And Howie was like, I'm not paying you that. And he was like, okay, I'll walk and get it somewhere else. And he overshot the market. And then when he realized that he wasn't going to get anywhere close to what he wanted, the door was already closed to Philadelphia. So I don't get mad at him for shooting his shot. I wish we would have signed him. Because if you remember, or maybe you don't, But Slay was putting out tweets saying it's been real and you guys are the best. And his wife was putting out tweets. They was getting ready to move. And this, he had put it out there that he thought he was gone. And then everything with CJ GJ fell through. And then they signed Slay and Bradbury. I wish we'd have kept CJ Gardner-Johnson too, but again, he overshot the market. That's what happened. He overshot the market. That's somebody like trying to sell you a house, and it's the exact house you want, and they selling the house at $1 million. Now you can afford it because that's the house you want, but all of a sudden, all the houses in the market in and around the one you want fall to $500,000. You're not paying $1 million for that. You're going to renegotiate, and you're going to negotiate the owner of that house down closer to the market value of the other houses in the surrounding area. CJ Gardner-Johnson overshot the market. Whatever he asked for was way too much, and he thought he was going to get it somewhere else, and he didn't come close. Why else would you leave? I know for a fact that Howie Roseman was going to pay him more than $7 million. He led the league in interceptions. But whatever he was asking for was out of bounds. And he didn't change it. And by the time he tried to come back, the door was closed. That's the way it happens. I've been saying 2011, clap. 2011. The Giants went 9-7 regular season, ended up going to the Super Bowl and beating Brady and the Patriots. So I've been saying all week, don't forget our neighbors up north and what they did in 2011, because I remember that was I can't remember if that was Eli's first Super Bowl, but I think that was that year that Tom Coughlin kind of had that come to Jesus moment where he was like, I got to change something. I believe it was that year. I played for Coughlin. I was in Camp Coughlin in Jacksonville with all of that craziness. And he was hard-nosed, old school, crazy. And the problem he didn't understand was it took him like 5 or 6 years in the league before he got out of that mindset. Because I remember, I believe I was down in camp, that was 96, I think. But I remember Ernest Givens was in camp. And I remember we was in film session before the coaches had got in there. Ernest was like, man, I'm too old for this. Because we were getting beat up. Like Coughlin was old school. 2 practices a day, full contact. And you got to understand that Jacksonville heat. I had never trained in Florida before, so I had never experienced anything like that before. And that was, if you're not ready for that, oh, baby. That humidity down in Florida is something special. And we were going at it. Yeah, Victor Cruz. Yep, I remember that. Was that the catch off the helmet? I can't remember. But in any case, the 9-7 Giants barely made it back into the playoffs, and they went on a run 5-0. Who was the quarterback when I was there? What's the guy's name? What is his name? Mark Brunell. Mark Brunell was pretty good. I was down there. Smitty was down there. Andre Ware was down there. I wasn't crazy about him. Like he thought he was better than he actually was, in my opinion. But it was camp down there was rough, man. But I was saying all that to say that, you know, he made his choice, and he finally changed, and he ended up getting a Super Bowl out of it. Yeah. Yep. You're right. 2008. So, whoever that was that asked me earlier, is it over for us? No, it's not over, because anything can happen in the playoffs. And here's the thing I say all the time, right? You are one play away from glory or ruin. One play away. You look at what happened to Indianapolis. Look at what just happened to us with Sidney Brown, up and coming safety, top draft pick. Now he's out. Probably got a torn ACL. So, one play away. I'm watching still 14-7. Miami's playing tough. Defense is playing well. What happens if, somebody from look at the Jets. You ain't got to go no further than that. Look at the Jets. Third play of the season. A-Rod goes down. Everybody is one play away from glory or ruin. So, everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's in the same boat. Usually the team that is the healthiest goes deep in the playoffs. Willie, I have not been to Houston. I've not played back when we played the Cowboys, but I've never had a camp in Houston. But I know when I was in Jacksonville, that was the first time I had ever seen a day fog. I'd never experienced that before. A day fog. Where it was not a cloud in the sky. It was bright and sunny. It was about 98 degrees out. Humidity had it like 117. And at the practice facility, there was a literal cloud of fog. It almost looked like a cartoon. It looked like something out of Scooby-Doo. Remember when Scooby-Doo got all the dry ice in the room and it made it fog up and he cuts the donut out of the fog? That's how thick it was. I know I reached for that example, but yeah, man. So it was, for me, being from Ohio, being from Cincinnati, I never experienced anything like that. When I went to college, I went down to Kentucky. Now, it got hot in Kentucky, but as far as humidity, However, a lot of my teammates were from Georgia and Florida, so they were very familiar. But when I got down there in Jacksonville and I saw that, I was like, oh my God. I'd never seen anything like it. It was just the weirdest phenomenon to me. It was not a cloud in the sky. It was a bright and sunny day, and I'm seeing this layer of fog, and I can't see 100 feet in front of me. And then, probably a little after 1 o'clock, it had cleared up. But it was just so hot. It was crazy. And on top of that, full pads, 2-a-days, every day. Every day. The only day we didn't go full pads was the day before the game when we did walkthrough. It was nuts. Everything down there. You down in Tampa. Yeah, man. Everything is hot down there, bro. Especially when you down there by that water. Look at that. Josh Allen giving the ball up. That's why he ain't in the Pro Bowl. That's why Jalen Hurts ain't in the Pro Bowl. You can't have that many damn turnovers. If Jalen Hurts didn't had half the turnovers he had this year, he would have been in the Pro Bowl. So I think he'll probably get voted in second to third string or alternate or something like that. But can't turn the ball over like that, man. So and that's the end of the fourth, beginning of the fourth quarter, end of the third. So yeah, man. Let me see what else I got. I got notes. I'm just spitballing, man. We rolling through this. This is a good conversation tonight. I'm digging the chat. I got to figure out a way. If anybody in the chat, if you got any idea, I'm trying to figure out some things to do to get more people involved. What I want to do, if you guys, and I'm trying to do this in the off season to build it up for next season, but I got friends everywhere. Everywhere. Clap Kabash, you're a Giants fan. One of my college teammates was Myron Guyton. Myron Guyton played for Parcells when Parcells took the Giants to the Super Bowl. Myron Guyton was, I believe, only the second rookie to ever start for Bill Parcells. He's my teammate. He's been on my podcast before, and I'm surprised I didn't talk to him this week with the Giants. I'm about to send him a message after that ass whooping that we just took. But yeah, I'm trying to get, because I respect all teams, even though I hate the Cowboys, but I still talk to Cowboys fans, Giants fans, Washington fans. I talk to everybody, man. San Diego, I got friends. Kansas City. Jason Dunn was my teammate. Jason Dunn played with the Eagles for 3 years and then played with Kansas City for 8. I had Mark McMillan, another guy, Kansas City and Philadelphia. So, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get in touch with all these people, all you guys that belong to all your different Facebook groups and Twitter spaces and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to get in touch with people just to talk to different people because I like talking ball. Yes, I bleed green. I was born in the jungle, so I am a Cincinnati Bengals fan because I'm from Cincinnati, but I bleed green because Eagles was my team. But I'll talk with somebody from the Bengals, or I got some homies that play I got one of my homies that played for the Rams when they were the greatest show on turf. He went to the Super Bowl, got a ring. I got a homie that played for the Chiefs. I got, a lot of people that play for a lot of different teams. So I'm saying all that to say I got respect for all the teams. So one of your favorite bartenders is the Cowboys fan. Listen, here's the thing with Cowboys, right? Cowboys fans, they haven't won a game, a Super Bowl in so long. Now they on course they might make it this year. If the 49ers flame out, but the national media shoves the Cowboys down your throat. That's why with Cowboys fans, it's feast or famine. You either love them or you either are one or you absolutely hate them. Because there is truth to Cowboys being America's team. Because that is the number one draw on the NFL on TV. So they throw it out there. And if you think about it, we clown the Cowboys fan. My rule is this: if you are a Cowboys fan and you never saw Troy Aikman play, if you never actually saw him play, I don't want to hear from you. If you're old enough to remember when Troy played and Allen played and Emmett and Roger Staubach, going back that deep, if you actually saw those guys plays and win Super Bowls, you got a right to talk. But if you're less than 30 years old and you talking about all the championships y'all won, you never saw it. So I don't want to hear from you. So, but I'm saying all that to say I don't mind Cowboys fans. I don't hate the Cowboys. I do hate how they fans come across like they've done something, and you haven't in 30-something years. Your last Super Bowl tape is on VCR. Stop playing. But I like all fans, man. Rams fans, KC. Got a homie that played for San Francisco. I got friends everywhere, so I got love for all the teams. Miami. I played with Mark Duper. So yeah, so I want to talk ball. So all you guys, if you got different Facebook groups or Twitter groups, if you are in another group, I'm looking to talk to a lot of people, man. A lot of people. So hit me up. Send me messages on Facebook. DM me, slide into the DMs because I'm gonna put some stuff together in the off season, and I'm looking to talk UFL too because I am a World League veteran. I played in the World League in 95, 6 and 7, won the World Bowl in 1996 with the Scottish Claymores. So I got much love for the minor league teams, the new UFL league. I got a lot of love for that because you got the XFL and the USFL coming together. I thought that's a great idea. I wish they had 2 more teams, though. I wish they could have made it 10 instead of 8, but I get it. It's a money thing. But I'm very invested. I'm really excited to see the UFL. So I want to talk about a lot of stuff, man. So curse of Jimmy Johnson. They gave Switzer a Super Bowl team that could have won a 4. Yeah, man. They could have. The Cowboys could have. But that was Jerry Jones getting in his own way. If he would have got out the way and let Jimmy Johnson do what he wanted to do, they would have had a dynasty like the Patriots. The Patriots are, in today's era, the Patriots are what the Cowboys were. That's why so many people hate the Patriots. Because they were winning. And then they got all of their stuff. You know what I mean? Then it was Brady was getting shoved down your throat. Then you got Deflategate. And then you got the cheating with the watching the walkthroughs and all of that kind of stuff. So they got their stuff with them well, but you can't take them Super Bowls away. The only time I was rooting for the Patriots to win a Super Bowl, I believe it was the year that Randy Moss was there. I believe that was the year that they could have been undefeated. I was rooting for that because I wanted to see that. Because it's infinitely more difficult now than it was back when the Dolphins did it in 1970 with 14 games or whatever it was. And the Patriots had a chance to be 16-0. So I was rooting for the Patriots to win it that year. Plus, I wanted to see Randy Moss get a Super Bowl ring. But it didn't happen. So, and I see all 8 Cowboy Super Bowls in 5. Yeah, we the same age, bro. I'll be 54 in July. Me and my twin sister turned 54 in July 12th. So we the same age, bro. So I see it. And like I grew up watching the Cowboys. I'm a running back, so I was a Tony Dorsett fan. So I appreciated and respected the Cowboys, but like what it turned into. But what it was it was the Cowboys started winning, right? Troy Aikman was drafted in 88, I think. 80. Was it 88? But my point is, the Cowboys started winning Super Bowls right when ESPN happened. So every highlight was Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman. So people grew up seeing that. That's when the star took off to another level. Because you had Roger Staubach. Because if you remember, back in the 70s and 80s, it was the Cowboys and the Steelers, and the Steelers was kicking everybody's ass. And Bradshaw, they were the bad guys. So that's where it started. And then in the 80s, the late 80s and 90s, that's when Troy Aikman and Emmett, and they couldn't be stopped. But that, with the advent of ESPN and the highlights and all of that kind of stuff, that just took it to a whole nother level. And that's what formed the Cowboys that we know now, that everybody doesn't like. So I got love for the Cowboys. 85 Bears. Yes, the 85 Bears, but the 85 Bears lost that game. 85 Bears lost one game that year. Yep. Troy was 89? Okay. Do you think Barry Sanders was better than Emmitt Smith? Yes. It's a shame what happened to Barry Sanders. In my opinion, Barry Sanders is a victim of his personality. And I'm not saying that as like derogatory, because Barry Sanders seems like a very down-to-earth, very humble, quiet dude, and not somebody that raised too much fuss. And because of that, he sat in Detroit his whole career. And he could have probably went somewhere else and possibly had it. It's a shame that somebody like that never even sniffed the Super Bowl. And like in this day and age, people think, Super Bowls grow on trees, man. It is very difficult to get there. You look at Randall Cunningham. Randall Cunningham didn't even sniff a Super Bowl until he got with the Vikings. And then the stupid kicker missed the kick that would have sent them through the Super Bowl. That was Randy Moss's rookie year. Randall Cunningham, Randy Moss, and what's the other receiver from Ohio State? I'm blanking. That's what happens when you get old. Chris Carter. They had the trio, and they couldn't even make it. The stupid kicker missed the kick. 15-1 Vikings, yep. Yep. Barry Switzer was in the perfect situation, but he that's the first time I've ever seen, and you'll probably never see that again. Barry Switzer didn't have to do nothing with that team, and they still won the Super Bowl that year. But that was Jimmy's team. That was definitely Jimmy's team. That's Barry Switzer has Jimmy's third Super Bowl. Quadri, yep. They had a squad. What was the running back's name? Was it Thomas? Robert Thomas? Another Ohio State kid. So listen, it is difficult to get to the Super Bowl. Everybody wants them playoff checks, man. And once you get to the playoffs, anything can happen. Anything can happen. So, we'll see what's going to happen. Hopefully the Eagles can get it. I still say the Eagles' issues are not complicated. They got to tackle on defense, but they got to be just a little bit more creative. And I'm not talking about creative as far as, you ain't got to be a rocket science. All you need to do is disguise some of your existing plays a little bit better. That's it. That's not hard to do in my book. 49ers let Seifert take over and Bill Washington won 2 Super Bowls. Yeah, absolutely. But back then, those were good coaches, man. How long did George Seifert sit around until Bill Walsh walked away? How long did Steve Young have to wait behind Joe Montana? And I still think Joe Montana is the GOAT. I know what Brady did, but if Joe Montana could play in today's NFL with all of the rules, I believe Joe Montana would do the same thing that Brady did. But I don't think Brady could play in my era back in the late 80s and 90s. I don't think Brady wouldn't last during that. That's the difference. When people want to say who's the best and all that kind of stuff, I don't think Brady could have lasted now. But Montana could play in today's, because all of the rules are made for quarterbacks. Montana would have picked them apart. But look how long it took Steve Young. And then Joe Montana goes to Kansas City and almost takes them to a Super Bowl. But he didn't. He almost don't count. Almost don't count. My boy, my best friend, William Thomas, Willie T, played for the Raiders when he left Philadelphia. John Gruden, that Raiders team with John Gruden should have went to the Super Bowl. But they got cheated by the Tuck Rule game against the Patriots. That's when the whole Tom Brady thing and the whole Patriots thing started. That Tuck Rule game. That was a clear fumble. And Raiders should have won that game and went to the Super Bowl. They would have won the Super Bowl that year. They was that good of a team. But John Gruden will be back in the league next year. Either next year or the year after. Because the NFL don't want that smoke. So, a lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff. Bill's going to Bill's going to 4 straight Super Bowls and missing all 4. That's back when I was a Bills fan. Because, again, I was a little running back. So, I used to love Thurman Thomas. Bruce Smith, all them dudes, man. I used to love that team, and they couldn't find 4 straight Super Bowls. Most people don't understand how difficult that is, man. They don't understand how difficult it is. What you say, Willie? You are right. I always felt Barry was just there, my Cowboys coach. Yeah, the reason why they hired Barry, because Barry had all of that experience and all of that success at Oklahoma when they was running the wishbone with Jamel Holloway and all back in the day, right? And plus, the only reason that Jerry Jones hired Switzer was because Jimmy had already built a team, and Switzer was his friend. Switzer was his boy. But you saw how long that lasted. That lasted, what, 2 years? 3? Was it 2 years or 3 years? Switzer got up out of there. Or got fired or whatever. What did he get fired for? He won a Super Bowl. Let me see. Barry. How long did Barry last? Barry Switzer. Damn, Barry is 86. Yep, all that time in Oklahoma. He was with Oklahoma from 73 to 88. And won all them national championships. And then he was with Dallas for 4 years. So he had a decent run. And then he went. Switzer went to 3 NFC. No. Lost to the 49ers in 94. Won the Super Bowl in 95. Lost to the Panthers in the NFC divisional game in 96. And then went 6-10 in 97. And that's when they fired him. Yeah, Switzer and Johnson are friends. They used to play each other every year. Miami versus Oklahoma. Those were the 2 top teams. Orange Bowl, Citrus Bowl, all that kind of stuff. So they knew each other and they were friends, but that whole situation in Dallas was Jerry Jones doing. For the same reason that remember the whole Parcells thing? If you want me to cook, at least let me buy the groceries. And that was Jerry Jones not wanting to give up the control of the team to Parcells so he could get the guys that he wanted. And that's why, the same reason why Jimmy Johnson got up out of there. So it was that, the biggest detriment to the Cowboys, a lot of it has been Jerry Jones. And he need to let his son go ahead and just take the reins and stay out of it. You can't be that old and you in sound bites. You got AI and stuff. Buffalo scored 14-14, 12 minutes left in the fourth. It's a game now. So yeah, man, it's saying all this to say how difficult it is to get to the Super Bowl. We had our shot. Our window is still open. But depending on what we do in this offseason, and really depending on what we do next week. Because depending on how we play next week in this wild card game in Tampa Bay, that's going to set the mood for Philly until the Sixers get into the playoffs. Because now, based on what happens on Sunday, you might have the same attitude about the Eagles as you did about the Sixers. Because now the Sixers, as well as Joel Embiid is playing and all that kind of stuff with the Sixers, I don't want to see nothing until they make it to the playoffs. Because Joel Embiid is beasting and he's playing like a true MVP now. However, it doesn't matter until you get to the playoffs. Same thing with every sport. With football, and we waited all year. We talked about the standard and all that kind of stuff all year, all off season. And to get all the way back here and to shit the bed like we doing right now is crazy. For whatever reason. Oh, yeah, Willie. Yeah, I got you. They all, yeah, Jerry Jones, Jimmy Johnson, Barry, they all played at Arkansas. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Jerry Jones was just the one that made all the money. So, but anyways, man, it is what it is. We in the playoffs. Dallas is in the playoffs. Everybody's here, man. I don't know who's gonna win this Miami game, but it's a good game. So, as bad as we feel right now, we are where we should be. If you are a Giants fan, y'all whooped our butts today, but y'all not in the playoffs. And that was Saquon Barkley's last game as a Giant. You saw what King Henry did today. His last game as a Giant, as a Titan. He stayed late after the game, signing autographs, taking pictures with everybody, because he knew that was his last game as a Titan. Who's going to sign him next year? Jets won't fire this. Robert Saleh, he ain't a bad coach. What you going to do? How you going to fire your staff when the quarterback you traded for, you moved heaven and earth to get A-Rod there, and he tears his Achilles on the third play? Now, some of the stuff he's doing in the interim is kind of stupid, trying to make people think you're going to come back early and play. It's like, man, if you don't sit your ass down somewhere, you ain't coming back from no Achilles tear, and like you going to get on the field and just throw the rock. And I was like, stop with that. Anybody that knows anything, because you running or jogging in a straight line, you a quarterback, son. You can't play in a straight line. The answer is no. Is we lose the first round, McCarthy is gone, and Dan Quinn will be the next head coach. I've been hearing that a lot. Who's going to pay big money to a running back who's 6+ years in? I don't know. Somebody that needs a running back. Somebody that needs a big back. Somebody that needs a run blocker. And every now and then, because listen, as Dallas should have never got rid of Zeke. They never should have got rid of Zeke. He was a great run blocker. He can still get you hard yards up the middle. He was still producing. No, he's not going to take one to the house because he's getting older, so he's losing the steps. But he was still a solid back, and you could have just moved Pollard up to the number 1 and just switched the roles. It would have worked. Because at the end of the day, Zeke want to win too. So you going to tell me Dowdle is better than Zeke? No, I'm not buying that. So, 40-year-old free agent quarterback running organization. Same problem the Packers had with his leg. Yep. I think Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Famer, but he act like an ass a lot of the time. Now he get in trouble with people on social media. He got the thing with what's the talk show host that he said was on the Epstein list and all of that kind of stuff. And it's like, come on, man, you can't do that. But he just be spitting that stuff out. He get all comfortable on Pat McAfee's show and say what he want to say. And it's like, nah, man, you can't say that, bro. You better keep it in there. You got 8 minutes to go. Still 14-14. 2nd and 6. Buffalo's got the ball. Ooh. And Buffalo's on the goal line, on the 4-yard line going in. 8 minutes, 8:30 left. So yeah. 40-year-old quarterback, but I mean, look what look at Joe Flacco in Cleveland. Joe Flacco done took sips from the fountain of youth because he is slinging that rock, and he got everybody playing better. It's amazing what you get when you get a good leader. I never thought Aaron Rodgers was a good leader. Poor Zach Wilson. I don't know what the hell his problem was. It's funny when you got quarterbacks like that because teams did their homework. And whatever that kid did in the combine convinced them that he was the right choice. And then they get up there and they just shit the bed. And you don't know what's going to happen. You never know. Always funny how most of these draft guys, if you look at the numbers, most of them are always wrong. I don't think DeMarco Murray is in the league. I love DeMarco Murray. when he was with the Cowboys. When we got him here in Philadelphia, I believe that's when Chip Kelly had him. And I remember I used to get so mad because Chip Kelly, we signed him, and it was like he's a downhill running back, and we had him in gun. I was like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And the first time we put him, we had ace formation, and he just lined up 7 yards deep behind the quarterback. Quarterback was under center, and they handed him the ball going downhill, and he took it for like 63 yards for a touchdown. And it was like, how come it's that hard for y'all to figure that out? He is not a gun formation type running back. He is a downhill running back. Plant your foot in the dirt and go forward. That's the kind of running back he is. So, yeah, Zach had an arm, and I'm not going to blame all of that on coaching. I think he was just he got a little bit too big for his britches, in my opinion. But we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. So I don't know what's going to happen next week. We should be good. They better put a better product on the field, man. The Giants never gave Saquon a blocking fullback. He's been getting hit behind the line more than 50% of his snaps. Dude, listen, I'm a running back, bro. Our position is going extinct. Fullbacks included. Fullbacks are now hybrids. Everybody's a hybrid. If you're a running back, you are also a receiver or a slot. If you are a fullback, you are also a tight end. Period. Look at how they use Ushek and George Kittles in San Francisco. Everybody's a hybrid. So I can't argue with that. But I liken that his situation to last year when we played him. It was all you had to do was focus in on Saquon and let Daniel Jones beat you, because you knew that wasn't going to happen. And we were good with that. There's a couple fullbacks in the league still. Like I said, Ushek, and I'm sure there's others, but I came from the era where you had Mike Alstott, depending on what offense you were playing. I mean, when I was with the Eagles, I was maybe 205. And at the time, 205 was a pretty solid size for a running back, because a lot of the running backs were like 190, 195. Not necessarily scat backs, but if you, for some reason, I had it in my mind that I had to report to camp, I had to be at least 205. So that's kind of where I was my rookie year. So, it's a few of them. Ushek is the first one that comes to mind, and I think Dallas has a tight end / fullback. So yeah, Johnson and Keith Byers. Those are old school names though. You can't think of any new age, new era fullbacks. They're hybrids. Everybody's either a fullback or a tight end. So true positions, not the same anymore. Buffalo just scored 21-14, 7:16 left. Let's go, Miami. What you gonna do? But yeah, man, it's pretty slim pickings out there what they doing to my running backs. We're going extinct. So, but yeah, man, that's good. South Jersey D. Eagles need more creative on offense to make any push in the playoffs. 100% agree, bro. 100%. Been saying that for weeks. Our X's and O's are absolutely terrible. You don't have to, and I'll repeat myself, our issues on offense are not complicated. Our issues on offense are the plays that we have. We don't have multiple sets. When you have a play, you should have at least 3 to 4 variations of that same play, and probably more than that, depending on what formation and motion and different things like that. And that's what we don't have. We barely go in motion. We use that outside motion. Rarely do they send somebody across or bring them back or do the arc motion or anything like that. I always use San Francisco as an example, because everybody's doing what San Francisco's doing. Everybody's doing that arc motion where the receiver will come in motion and then arc behind the running back or the quarterback, depending on if they're in gun or pistol or whatever. And then that confuses the linebackers because they don't know what he's going to do. Is he going to give it to the guy sweeping across? Or will he come across underneath and they give it to a jet sweep going back the other way? There's so many things that they can do. Plus, San Francisco was good for we talking about these fullback tight ends again. Who's the end man on the line of scrimmage? If you're the end man on the line of scrimmage, you're getting covered by a linebacker. There's not a linebacker that can cover George Kittles. Or when they move Ayuk on the inside, shift Kittles to the other side. So now you got basically 2 tight ends, except one of them just happens to be Brandon Ayuk. That's a mismatch. He's still that inside receiver, that number 3 receiver to the inside, so he's got to be covered by a linebacker. To me, that's smart X's and O's. Shift the formation so you get the matchups in your favor. My rule is there are plenty of linebackers that can run, but linebackers can't cover. Linebackers cannot cover Brandon Ayuk, DeAndre Swift, CMC, Debo. Linebackers can't cover them. They can drop back in zone and give you good coverage in zone, but if you a man-to-man and you get a slot receiver that forces you to change directions, you beat. As a linebacker, you beat. Oh, dang. Miami done gave the ball up already? Buffalo got the ball. Okay, they must have punted. Who was the last big-time white running back before McCaffrey? Larry Zonka? No. Mike Allstott for Tampa Bay. And then you had what's his name? Dang it. My buddy, good friend of mine. The dude from New York. John Riggins is in there, but what's the kid from New York? The white running back that played for the Giants. Went to Princeton. So it's been a few of them. Not many, but it's been some out there. Yeah, Mike Allstott was the truth, dude. He was the truth. So you had some out there. Let me see. John Riggins. You went back with that one. You talking about John Riggins. So, Keith Elias. Thank you. That was bugging the heck out of me. I know Keith. It was killing me that I was forgetting his name. Keith Elias. Yep. Keith Elias was a good dude. So, but listen, I've been rolling for about an hour and a half. And what are we looking at right now? We're looking at, we got 10 watching. I think it was up to 15 to 18 before. So we getting there. I gotta get one of them shows. I gotta start doing this on a regular basis. Anybody still in the chat, do me a favor. What's the best night in your opinion? What is the best night to stream live? I'm looking to go at like 9:30. This seems to be a good time, 9 to 9:30. But what's the best night to stream in your opinion? Like Monday through Friday. Like put that in the chat. Because I got to start getting I like talking football with people, and hopefully I can branch out to some other sports. But I'm Phillies, Eagles, pretty much centric. But definitely want to start getting into some other sports. Teams have taken away what the Eagles good at around the Hurts now. I don't think that. I don't think that. Kabash, I'm doing all sports. I let me be honest with you. Um I really want to get into Premier League. I'm a NASCAR fan. I kind of fallen out of favor with NASCAR just because I'm doing so many other things with the NFL right now. But I used to be a big NASCAR fan. Dale Jarrett was my dude. I would like to get back into NASCAR. Like I said, I'm going to be doing UFL stuff, obviously NBA stuff, obviously NFL stuff. Like I said, Premier League. I actually want to get into cricket. I want to start watching cricket. I used to see it all the time when I was in the World League. And you jump on BBC one night and you see the cricket championships in India. So just doing different stuff because I know like that's something you don't see. And what I'm doing on YouTube is football will always be here. The Philadelphia Eagles will always be here. So that audience is set. But there's so many other avenues you can kind of go to. As long as the Eagles are like the home base, what do you do in the off season? So you got to kind of get up some other thing. In WNBA, I'd rather stick with women's college basketball. To me, the WNBA is not necessarily entertaining. Like I wouldn't watch it. The U.S. soccer is coming on. I will admit that because Philadelphia's got a team, the Union's got a team, Cincinnati's got a team, and some of the games that I have seen have been pretty impressive. So I definitely want to see that. Like right now, the hot topic in college sports to me is Caitlin Clark and what she's doing at Iowa. So I put out a video about her the other day. I'm about to do another one tomorrow because she's the hot topic. And I think in another month or so, it's going to be Iowa and LSU going at it again. So it'll be Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese Part 2. So that's always fun to watch. So Willie, here's the thing though. That will always happen. Just like, every time there's an Eagles game, I always go live on Facebook at halftime, right? But what do you do? Okay, once the playoffs are over and the Super Bowl is done, what am I doing in the offseason? I'm not talking about the Eagles every day. Or I can't go live at halftime. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, some other stuff to do. So what I'm trying to do, what I'm asking is, in your opinion, I want to do a show at 9:30 like every Wednesday. Right? But I got to be consistent every Wednesday. I'm going to still do all of the other stuff. But I want to have Pro Fan Talk live every Wednesday or every Thursday. And I'm asking, in your opinion, what do you think is the best day for it? Because you got to think of everything. I'm dealing with people that got kids. So on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, they got to take their kid to soccer practice. So does that mean Monday and Friday are the best days? You know what I mean? So what is the best Italian restaurant in Philly? I'm in South Jersey, bro. I don't really go to Philly that much. If I go to Philly for any food, there's two places I go in Philadelphia. I go to Fogo de Chao, or I go to Mike's Barbecue. Those are the only two places I'm going in Philly if I'm going for food. I'm not a foodie like that where I'm looking for places to go and stuff like that. I'm like, I'll order out. Plus, South Jersey got a lot of mom and pop places for pizza and Italian hoagies and stuff like that. So that's I'm the wrong person to ask that question to. But it's a lot. I mean, you can look that up, go on YouTube, and you'll find a bunch of reviews and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, true. South Jersey, but I don't really, I'm not really going over the bridge often to go eat. You know what I'm saying? I'll go. I'll keep it local. So there's enough mom and pop places where I am that I'm good. So, all right, McDaniels, what you dialing up, son? So, but yeah, man, y'all think about that, man. I need a day. I'm trying to find the best day to go live every Monday or every Wednesday. I think this time the 9:30 time is pretty good because people that got to work in the morning, you can still catch some of it. Thursday, I can't do Thursday. The only day I can't do because I already have a show on Thursday. I have a show under the A2D banner every Thursday at 7 p.m. So I don't want to double dip that day. So Thursday is really the only day that's out. It's funny you say that too, Thursday. So technically it would be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Friday. And of course, either Saturday or Sunday. Because I used to do Saturdays at 8 o'clock in the morning. I was doing this thing called like Saturday morning cartoons. But basically I was still talking about sports, but my background would be like Johnny Quest or, Plastic Man cartoon playing in the background, and then I got hit with a copyright violation because you can't let that stuff play too long, or YouTube would get you with a violation. So I was like, once that happened, I was like, yeah, I have to find another avenue. So got him. So Monday or Wednesday, yeah, all right. Because I got some stuff coming up, man. So if anybody got any ideas for, like, I'm all ears, dude. I'm always looking for something new to do, and I'm always looking for something that somebody else is not doing. Right? So I'm always looking for something to do. I thought about doing gaming stuff, like sports gaming stuff. Like I got a couple, like I started playing that NFL, what's it called? It's called NFL. I started playing Marvel Snap and NFL Rivals. So I even thought about streaming that, but I don't know. Marvel Snap is fun. It's something that I play on my mobile. I used to be an avid like Destiny player on PlayStation 4 and stuff like that, but I don't. With the success of my podcast now, I'm over 1,800 subscribers, and I'm trying to get to 2,000 and trying to get to 5,000 and just trying to build upon it. Like I don't have time to play, like do a 4-hour raid on Destiny anymore. I ain't got time for that. So trying to keep it sports and trying to grow, and finally get my footing and understand what I'm doing. So I appreciate when people check in. I'm always looking for feedback. So if you got like, yo, Coach Marcus, do you think, why don't you do this or why don't you talk about that? Dude, hit me up. I'm telling you, I'm always looking for ideas and nothing's off the table. Nothing's off the table. All these people with these Facebook groups and stuff like that, I'm trying to connect with all of these Facebook groups. Like, I want to be able to, if you in a Facebook group, if you a Giants fan, and you in a Facebook group of Giants fans in Tampa Bay, and you got 5,000 people in your Facebook group, let's have a night where everybody on your Facebook group jumps in the chat and like y'all take over the chat. That's the type of stuff I want to do because the conversation is still going to be fire. You don't have to be an Eagles fan. I can talk ball with you as long as people don't get toxic with me. I'm good. I can talk with anybody. So, we gonna figure stuff out, man. Do me a favor. Make sure you guys are subscribing to my channel, to my YouTube channel, and please hit me up in the comments so I can like put you on my list whenever I'm doing something. I can make sure you get notification and stuff like that, or definitely click on that notification bell, man. Yeah, I'm gonna do some experiment, man. So like again, if you guys got feedback, hit me up. All right, because I'm just not getting to the point where I'm putting polish on it. You see my little animated graphics in the background? I do all of that stuff. I'm a nerd, man. I'm a tech nerd. I used to be a heavy gamer. I don't game as much anymore, but I do graphic design. That's my job. So animation, motion graphics, the stuff you see, all the editing of the videos. I do all of that stuff myself. That's what I do. So I'm trying to add the polish and all that kind of stuff to it to get a better look. Because I've definitely been hooking up with other content creators. So definitely been doing that. So that's going to continue on. So we'll do some other stuff. But I want to get like the people that I talk to. Like I hooked up with this dude named Dennis. He's got this YouTube group, Countrywide Eagles fans. He's down in Virginia, I think. I jumped on his podcast once. And I'll do it again. Because they're Eagles fans. I want to talk to Eagles fans. So, yeah, if you guys got any suggestions, people I want to talk to, and I will be getting back with you on like getting guests on and who's going to be on. So it should be fun, man. But keep them coming. Keep them ideas. Keep that feedback coming. Because, like, hey, at my core, I'm an athlete. And athletes don't know everything. And I always like to say I'm coachable, which means I'll take feedback and take constructive criticism. Or if you see something that I could do better or something that I messed up on, like, I'm good for stuff like that. Like, I do not know everything. So I'm always looking for stuff. Yo, I've been trying to hook up with him. If you know him, put in a good word. I'll connect with him. I'm trying to connect with everybody. So I have watched him, Philly 500. Yes, I have watched him. He's one of the bigger ones in the area. So trying to get in touch with people like that. It's one thing for you to put something out. It's like, hey, I'd love to connect. It's a whole other thing to get them to respond. So I put the word out. So if you listen to him or you in the chat, like, hey, try to hook up with Coach Marcus and Pro Fan Talk. The one thing I offer is, hey, I'm a former Eagles player. So my perspective is a little bit different. Not from a fan, as a player, somebody been in the locker room. So I'll keep that in mind. So, but I have checked him out. And I definitely want to get in touch with him. And I'd love to connect with that dude. Ooh, 2 minutes left. And ooh, now they're going to kick the field goal. Kick the field goal. Don't do nothing stupid. Buffalo going to kick the field goal. So I will help you get the listen, I will talk. I've talked to a couple of Cowboys guys. I got a guy up here out of the box sports. He's up in Philly. I've been on his show a couple times. He's a Cowboy fan. Love talking with him because he's like reasonable. I like watching Laws Nation. His stuff is really good. We've connected like on social media, but that's as far as it goes. But I would love to collab with him. So, yo, hit me up. Hit me up in the DMs, man. We can talk. I'm always trying to connect with people and branch out, make them connections. That's the way it works. So, hit me up. But I'm about to get out of here. I'm gonna get something else to eat. My wife baked some chicken, and I'm hungry again. So, I will be back. Check out the videos. Check out the playlist. Click the playlist and just let it play. Go get yourself something to eat. It'll be rolling when you get back, man. So I'm going to see you guys. We'll be talking about this all week. So getting ready for this game with Tampa Bay. So it should be interesting. Got some things to do. And we got to get her done to win the playoffs now. You know what? I talked to Vi. Vi is a friend of mine. And when I call somebody a friend, that means that's somebody I have in my phone and I can call him and he would pick up. Vi is a friend. Barrett Brooks is a friend. Willie T is a friend. Like, I got some people. So I haven't seen Vi on TV, but I have reached out to Vi and he's doing well. So, but I'm gonna get out of here, man. Like, I appreciate everybody that was in the chat. I appreciate y'all to no end. Bringing them topics, keep bringing that heat, and keep bringing your friends, man. Let's get this conversation going, man. I'm gonna get up out of here. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you guys later on this week.